it's so cool. And like the buzz coming off Rónán and Oisin at the moment is brilliant.
Yeah.
Like everyone's, everyone at home is so buzzing on it, and it's so cool to see.
I wanted to talk a little bit before we wrap up about the Irish scene. I guess you've been a big part of growing the scene out there and showing and inspiring Irish riders, showing them what's possible, and the scene's, I guess, grown. And now you've got young downhill riders as well, like Rónán and Oisin. Yet again, kind of leading the charge and buoying up that like Irish riding community. How is it these days, and how has it changed since you were a kid and started riding?
Yeah, it's amazing. It's so cool. And like the buzz coming off Rónán and Oisin at the moment is brilliant.
Yeah.
Like everyone's, everyone at home is so buzzing on it, and it's so cool to see that, just to see Irish riders doing well, and especially at downhill, because, we don't have the biggest hills, and, on paper, maybe it doesn't really make sense, but yeah, the boys have put in the work, and, they've come out swinging, haven't they?
They have.
So it's really cool. In terms of the scene at home, it's crazy. Like, I think having the EWS those 3 years really changed things.
Yeah.
For mountain biking as a whole, because it really put it in the limelight of the government and just day-to-day people. Like, I think the amount of people, like I was out riding once, it's a few years ago now, and there was a guy, I think in his 50s, and he was out mountain biking, and he was just buzzing, and he was telling me like, I got into it, I went and watched this race, blah blah blah.
Nice.
And it just made me love mountain biking. And I told him like, and he said like, local guy won it, and I was like, that was me that won it. And he gave me a big hug.
Oh, no way.
Because he was just like, yeah, you got me into mountain biking. And I was like,
mate, that's so cool.
Like, it's crazy, it's amazing.
Yeah.
And to see now like the trail development going on, like I think there was a grant of 13 million from the government to build trails in Ireland.
Whoa.
So we've got, I think there's like 7 trail centres around the country.
Yeah.
And the standard of trails is unbelievable. Like, it's nuts. Like, my local hill, we used to go up there when I started riding, and you'd get told off by walkers, and there was a handful of tracks, but they were not very good. And now you go up there and like there's purpose-built world-class trails, and there's still like off-piste stuff as well. And then so that's the front of that hill is that trail centre. This is Ticknock.
Yeah.
And then the back of the hill there's a bike park, the Gap, Glencullen Adventure Park, and they've got uplifts. They've got so many tracks.
Amazing.
Like a crazy amount of tracks. And like that used to be a golf course.
Yeah.
And in the recession, the golf course closed, and they reopened it as a bike park, which is like how? That's crazy,
Yeah.
And like you go there any day of the week, especially on the weekends, and there's such a buzz around the place. The place is packed.
Yeah.
Everyone's just loving biking. So yeah, like I genuinely think around Dublin is one of the best places in the world to ride bikes now.
How does it feel to have been, part of doing that, promoting that?
Yeah, cool. Like I wouldn't take too much credit. I think there's a lot of people who've done a lot of work behind it.
But the Irish win at home, I think, was a big deal, right? I think that really did kind of spark a few things.
Yeah, for sure. It was big. It was definitely big for the sport, and just to see it, how it's gradually grown from then until now is incredible. Yeah, it's amazing.
Have you had much chance to ride with Oisin and Rónán when you've been at home?
A good bit, yeah. Like Rónán lives 20 minutes from me, so we do, when we're both home at the same time, we do ride, and he's very good at, whenever we get home, he'll send you a text saying let's go riding, which is really good. Oisin's a bit further away, so I haven't ridden with him so much. Actually, funny story, I did a coaching day with his like club when he was like 12 or something. His dad actually organised it, Chris. And it was so funny because he was like so flash, he had all the kit and he was such a good little rider, and he was on this hardtail. And I was kind of teaching them about like kind of race lines and racecraft. So like opening up turns and being smooth and carrying speed, that kind of thing. And he just wanted to shred. And it was like this corner, and there was like a few bumps coming in, and it was like a left-hand berm. And I was saying like, you could set up and like get the entry wider and carry a bit of speed. And Oisin was just coming in, manualing through the bumps on his little hardtail, and like doing like a Scandi flick and then like slapping the berm. And I was like, yeah, that was class, but like not what it's
not
like.
Going to win a race.
Let's try this, like this thing. And he just came in and did the same thing again. And I was like, right, there's no telling this kid. He knows what he's doing.
Fair play.
But hell of a rider, and he has been a hell of a rider since such a young age. So,
and both taking World Cup wins in the not so distant past.
Yeah,
cool.
Amazing,
and more
class.
to come, I think.
More to come, and they're both consistent now as well. Like it's not just a flash in the pan.
Yeah,
they're both like they got a good head on their shoulders, and they're racing to win now. It's like I think when Oisin won in snowshoe, it was a bit of a surprise, maybe.
Oh, you could see it on his face, right? I don't think he believed he could win a World Cup at that point. And now he knows he can.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas now, like, I think the two of them are maybe nearly disappointed if they're not on the podium, which is like such a cool place to be in for both of them. And for us as fans to watch as well. It's cool to see them riding with that confidence.
Yeah, 100%.